Hi, I'm John Byrne with Poets&Quants.
Sandy Kreisberg, the HBS guru.
And we're here for another edition of Handicapping Your MBA Odds. Today, we're going to explore the chances of a 26-year-old Indian. He has a bachelor's degree in computer science from BITS.
Which, as I told you, is near IIT, the way that
Near Ivy.
schools consider themselves near Ivy, yes.
And he also has a 2-year degree from the Indian Institute of Management in Management. He worked for a year as a computer programmer for Oracle in India. And for the last 2+ years, he's been working for a Swiss multinational insurance company in property and casualty insurance in Chicago. He has pretty big ambitions, but he also has a pretty big GMAT, 750 GMAT. His undergraduate degree, he graduated in the top 20% of his class. The management degree that he topped that off with, he graduated in the top 10% of his class. And he wants to go to Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, Booth, or Kellogg. What do you think?
I don't think he's getting into Harvard and Stanford, and let me tell you why. I like this guy a lot. I like DESI guys who are software programmers with big GMATs, property and casualty, which he calls P&C. As far as Harvard and Stanford is concerned, that might as well be D&C. It's an abortion for them. It's not a select area. It's not something they care about. They think it's as boring as you think it is. And it's not considered a selective job. On the other hand, it's a serious and important job. But for those reasons and the fact he doesn't have, as he admits, he says, not much by way of extras or Stanford-friendly assets.
Only recently did he start doing pro bono work for an NGO.
Yeah, so I don't think he's getting into Harvard or Stanford. He's the silver version of a version that there's a golden version of this guy who has a 750 GMAT, went to IIT, worked at McKinsey, and is now working at an elite PE firm.
But let's say this about him, okay? Unlike many Indians who get into computer programming, they don't get out of computer programming.
He got out of it.
And they're in this huge, massive pile, and it's really hard to differentiate themselves from others. At least this guy, he's gotten a strategy analyst job at a big multinational. So that does take him out of the big pile, right?
Property and casualty.
I know. Well, it's insurance.
If our readers could write in, if our readers attending Harvard and Stanford could write in and say, Sandy, you don't know what you're talking about. 10 people in my section come out of property and casualty. I'd like to hear that.
Yeah. Well, let's see. What else about this guy?
What does he want to do?
What does he want to do?
The goals are great. He wants to work for McKinsey. He's got that right. MMB, did I read that?
That's exactly right. McKinsey, Bain, BCG, and he hopes to work in financial services and healthcare sectors.
That's blah, blah, blah. All that's fine.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing to say. Why? Let me quiz you. Why is that a good thing to say?
Well, because consulting firms hire the bulk of the MBAs. Because
of jobs. He can get that job.
Yeah.
Consulting firms have a different attitude about property and casualty. They might say, we could start a practice. And what else do consulting firms like about this guy, John?
Well, they like his GMAT.
You got that right.
They love his GMAT.
That's right.
Because, 750, that's pretty darn
Consulting
high.
firms, this is another little piece of, I don't know if it's inside information, but it's kind of inside or on the porch information. Consulting firms ask for your GMAT even after you get into business school. So you think after you get into business school, you can throw away your GMAT score. Not so.
But can't you lie?
No. They check that.
Do they really? How can they check a GMAT score?
They want the little piece of paper, the same way that the school.
They really do?
Yeah.
So there's no getting around that?
No.
So he has a great GMAT score to get into a McKinsey, Bain, BCG.
The good news the bad news, he's not getting into Harvard or Stanford. The good news, he will get a big 3 consulting gig, no matter where he goes. So except for the 2 years of consumption, it doesn't make a difference.
Okay. Odds at, let's say, Booth, Chicago Booth.
Let's start with Wharton.
Okay, that's fine.
Wharton goes for a guy like this with serviceable execution. He's got big numbers. He's going to be employed, and he's smart. And why not? So he's got his chances at Wharton are, 40-50%.
Wow. Okay. Chicago Booth.
Same thing.
Kellogg.
Same thing. Kellogg.
That's a consulting school,
Yeah, it's a consulting school. Yeah, the question, I don't know this guy. I don't want to jump to conclusions. He may not be a Kellogg type.
Okay, I see what you mean. Mainly because of the lack of ECs?
I'd like to know how many people at Kellogg have ever worked at Oracle. That would be a very interesting statistic. This is statistics Sandy wants to know. Okay, wacko statistics. Curious Sandy wants to know how many people at Kellogg have ever worked at Oracle. It seems like oil and water.
Okay, now you already said this guy's not getting into Harvard or Stanford, but what are the odds? Stanford. Let's go Stanford.
10%.
10%.
Harvard.
That's low.
25%.
25%. All right. Well, he's going to go to a great school. He's going to have a great career. And he's going to fulfill his dream by getting into McKinsey, Bain, or BCG. No doubt about it.
Here's another issue. What's the impact of this guy has a management degree.
Right.
So that's another thing to be explained away.
Yeah, but he graduated from top 10%. So he's an ambitious guy.
It becomes a question. Schools say, you already have an MBA. What are you doing here?
Yeah, it's not. Well,
so it's just something to explain away.
Yeah,
schools blink at that. They blink at one-year non-American MBAs on the theory that you didn't get the full Monty experience. You didn't get to go on treks with your classmates. You didn't get to throw parties. You didn't get to have a summer internship.
Yeah.
You didn't get to mingle with a bunch of vacationing plutocrats, all part of your liberal arts refined education. That's how D. Leopold blinks at this, if she wanted to. But in this case, she don't.
That's also how this guy got out of computer programming into strategy at a Swiss multinational.
Look, I like this guy. He can get into the Sandy Kreisberg Business School. Seriously.
All right. Well, there's a 100% odds of getting into the Sandy Kreisberg School of Business.
Property and Casualty.
Good luck to you.
Also known as
round one.
insurance.
He's applying round one in this new season coming up. So
write back and tell us how you do.
Absolutely. Good luck to you.
Be happy to say, hey, Sandy, you idiot, I got into Stanford. Derek Bolton loves casualty insurance.
And good luck to all the other applicants out there. If you would like Sandy to analyze your profile, just write it in the comments section. We'll get to it either in print or in video. Until then, take care.